American women didn't want me and I didn't want them, so I came to the jungles of Latin America and met a gorgeous girl that is literally a perfect 10 out of 10 and way more beautiful than all the girls that are gonna be salty in my comments complaining why all the good, handsome men have left the United States for more feminine women abroad. Get your passports, boys.
Welcome back, people, to the third episode of The Internet Is Not Real. Crazy thing about story number one is that I just refused to report on it because I thought it was a fad. I thought stupid shit like this would just go out of style. What are a bunch of men doing going from one country, which is like the US, to another country, which is like Brazil or any Latin American place, and sleeping with escorts for? There's this dude, he's bald, but he has like a hair transplant that I'm gonna pull up from Instagram. And he has this really fucking stupid video.
At some point, every man who brings real value to the table starts asking, well, what am I getting back? And in the US, the answer is often attitude, flaking, games, and zero gratitude. Guys like me who are above average looking.
Why he's going down into Latin American countries and sleeping with Latin American prostitutes, because he says the values of these women are somehow morally superior to the values of American hoes. You know what I mean when I say hoes? I mean 304s, like the kind of women that this guy has been chasing his whole life, right? He's been chasing American 304s. They didn't want to sleep with him. So he managed to convince himself that going to Latin America and sleeping with prostitutes is better.
An urgent warning for Americans visiting Colombia after a string of deaths in tourist hotspots. The U.S. Embassy in Bogota urging travelers not to use dating apps in the country, writing in a security alert that criminals are using the sites to lure victims, with many U.S. citizens drugged, robbed, and even by their Colombian dates. Embassy officials confirming the deaths of at least 8 Americans.
But a lot of these niggas are ending up as statistics, literal statistics, going down into Latin American countries and not coming back. These women are hitting licks on them. Shit, if I was a Colombian, Cuban, Brazilian fucking lady of the night and a nigga came down and spent 15 bands on me over 2 weeks, I'd rob him too. You got 20, 30 women in this hotel room that you paid for to do some crazy stuff with you, and you think that shit's gonna be sweet? You think they're not gonna try and rob you? What are we talking about here? I started off with the more lighthearted stuff at the beginning of the story because it's pretty obvious to everyone that you shouldn't be going down into Latin American countries looking for some pussy. How the fuck you know you're gonna be safe in a Latin American country? They make drugs there. You know, when submissive to these guys just means in a lower income bracket, so she can't run if I do some weird shit. What happens when you go into a lower income bracket? Criminals.
14-year-old on steroids, but he's not the only one.
Teenagers being on steroids is obviously not a new thing. When I started working out, there were a lot of teenagers that started getting on steroids. You know, for me, it wasn't something that I felt I needed to do, but for other people, it made sense. What is crazy now is that it's trending so heavily online. I saw a 14-year-old who was taking gear, and I was like, that is crazy. That makes it a problem, because when kids are young enough that they're in 7th, 8th grade taking this kind of shit, it doesn't end up well. Case in point, another kid who turned 17 this year did a slingshot 815 with Larry Wheels and immediately got hospitalized. Kids, shit, he can have 3 heart attacks before he decides he's gonna hop off the skier. In any case, drugs would be worse when kids take them. It's one of those things where you kind of just look at it, understand why it's happening, but still don't agree with it, which is my stance on it, right? Especially since I got big without steroids. You don't think I wasn't gonna show you, did you? I mean, obviously, I gotta show you what it's like. This is pretty big. I'm pretty big for a natural dude. Like, I'm big enough that people accuse me of taking steroids, and I look nothing like those action models online. There is conjecture. I'm sure maybe it's because of where I live, like, relative, but all of the people that are saying this are seeing other people online who are clearly much bigger than me. And what I'm trying to say by that isn't necessarily that taking the steroids won't make you as big as these guys if you're a kid, because I'm not here to tell you some BS like steroids aren't gonna work if you don't dial, if you're like maybe not lucky or some shit, because that's what other people are saying, but I don't believe in that. I know these kids know the risks when they're taking the steroids. They may not understand what comes with the risks, but I know they know the risks. I'm gonna tell you to go the natural way, because when you get big enough, it doesn't really matter who's bigger than you. It's always mattered. The steroids aren't gonna fix that. If you're still thinking about it and you haven't done it yet, let me tell you right now, those kids who take the steroids, they're still looking up to people bigger than them. Difference between me and some of the 20-year-olds who started taking gear 2 years ago is that I actually look like this when I go to bed. I look like this when I wake up. I look like this when I go out. I will look like this if I don't work out for the next month but eat the same and stop taking protein shakes and creatine. I'll still look like this. That kid your age look the same if he hops off gear for a month. That's all he does. Good eating, good everything else. All he does is hop off the ridiculous amount of gear. He'll look like shit. He will literally look like shit after a month. And hey, if you're into some fake muscles, you go for that. It's been like 2 days since Jack Boys came out now, and I gotta say that album is mid as fuck. Argue with the Wall. I can't honestly look at it and be like, hey, Travis Scott went crazy on here, because it's not that crazy. Travis Scott has made significantly better projects. Last collaboration album, Jack Boys, is a better project. Huncho Jack with Quavo is a better project. This shit is mid. And I'm saying that as someone who really appreciates 5 of the tracks on there. The instrumental to whatever's playing right now, favorite track on the song. Kick Out was fucked up though because of the Travis Scott feature, which isn't a feature. Get that nigga off the album. And overall, I'm disappointed. How the fuck is Cardi making a better album than Travis Scott in 2025? Okay, even the Pusha T album, nah. Bit more of a serious one now, and I think it's time we talk about the Epstein files. Like, the Epstein files have been causing America to go through an implosion, the likes of which I haven't seen since like a month ago when people were rioting on the streets. It would be really funny to actually rag on the states for all of the stuff that's been going on, but this is not the same as all of that. This is government officials blocking the release of a list that would incriminate more than half of them, arguably, because I don't want to be sued for like defamation of character or something. But when you see how many of these people have photos with Jeffrey Epstein, how the story has been changing as well, it just doesn't make sense. And when I say the story's been changing, I really do mean that. It went from the files are getting released to we're not releasing the files because of one reason to another reason, to eventually Donald Trump asking why people are still on his case about the Epstein files. And that's a really scary thing, bro. Because what it proves, maybe not by anyone directly on the screen that we've seen so far, but definitely something behind the scenes if it's not including them. Government that has been brought in to be transparent with people, do what people are asking them to do. That's kind of the whole thing that Trump was elected on. These things that he was doing were things that people wanted him to get into office and do for them. That same government will turn around and completely shut down anything they don't want getting out. They will forcibly get rid of something they think isn't good optics for them. That's what this is setting the precedent for. This is setting the precedent that, in effect, the government can do no wrong. It's not a democracy if the people lose this battle with the Epstein files. If these files don't get released in their entirety, I don't see how, as Americans, you can then wake up the day afterwards and say, yes, we live in a place that allows us to trust our government. Your government is not democratic if they do not release the Epstein list. That is authoritarianism. I vote you in to do such and such. You promise to do such and such. You then change your reasoning behind why you can't do such and such over and over again, lying to us, all the while you know it is bullshit reasoning, in hopes or to the effect that people eventually forget about the story and move on. That is not something a leader that you elected should be doing. That's not democracy right there. He's telling you no and you're accepting it if this goes through. Luckily we got people like Asmund Gold that just won't give up on the story. He's the reason I know about all of this stuff. Like, I'm keeping up with it through him. And I think when it comes to these Epstein files, it is important that people do not start making noise about it, whether you're an American or not, because we need to know who the fuck is diddling all these children. And these people need to be arrested. And if that happens to be in the United States government, they need to be arrested as well, even if that includes the people at the very top. One of the reasons this list is supposedly not being released is because the Epstein list isn't even created by Jeffrey Epstein himself, right? Or an affiliate of Epstein. It's created by a country, we don't know which one, as an intelligence guide on people who have been associated with these children. The Epstein list could be foreign intelligence, and that could be the reason it isn't being released. I don't give a fuck though. I want to know who the pedophiles are, and the pedophiles deserve to be put in prison. A lot of stories about cucks, and I love talking about cucks. The reason I love talking about cucks is because they're fascinating to me. I've never understood the fascination with seeing your woman getting fucking ran through by someone else, and that fascination, I don't know, it's really funny, bro. It's really funny to hear about dumbass shit like that, okay? My favorite cuck of all time is probably Adam22, because this guy gets married to this woman called Lena the Plug, and immediately after the marriage, she says, Adam, I want to open up our marriage, and get fucked by a big black guy on camera. And, you know, a few things in life just make me laugh at how fucking crazy it is. This is one of those things for me. And so she gets fucked by this guy on camera. Now, mind you, at the time, this is when I don't really care about masturbation's effects on me. I beat my meat, you know what I mean? Not every day, because I know beating me every day is crazy, but I beat my meat at the time. This is what my metric, yo. Like once every 3 weeks, okay? So when I hear this video is coming out, this woman is bad as fuck, bro. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna see what it's about. Surely there must be something crazy going on there, right? And yeah, nothing of substance was there, bro. That day I obviously go and find it for free, because I'm not buying that shit on OnlyFans. And, you know, scrolling through the whole thing, it's not good. Nothing kicks off. It's not exciting. So I closed my phone and I went about my day. I literally didn't even beat my meat that day, because that video just took me out of it, like, the mood to do so. And, you know, as I've grown, maybe 6 months after that, I was like, beating meat is stupid, stop doing it. Also, I got laid. I obviously stopped and realized that getting laid and beating your meat aren't the same thing, obviously. And then I went on my holistic journey where I continued to laugh at Adam22. Still funny, but I wasn't a vicious meat beater. The thing is about the guy, it sort of faded into the background with all of his legal troubles. His studio, which he paid a lot of money for, was closing down. And I actually kind of felt bad for him. You know, what is he gonna do to recover? Even when he was doing his like fucking scam tactics, I was okay with it. But when I see that you are allowing your wife to go back to the same guy that fucked up your marriage by fucking her on camera, and again, like, I gotta stress, it's not even a good video. When you allow your wife to go back to that without leaving, without any backbone, find ourselves on the internet is not real, part 3. Because Not only did he allow her to go back, granted, I didn't watch this one. This is coming from the Vlad interview where the guy says, and I'm not quoting, but I'm paraphrasing. He watched the video, skimmed through it a bit, and at the end he noticed Jason Love, the black guy, didn't finish. You're telling me you let her go back to have sex with this guy again, and not only was it probably a worse video, but judging by the fact that he didn't even finish this time, the nigga wasn't even enjoying it. The guy that you're allowing to fuck your wife, the guy that's making you a cuck, doesn't even want to do it because he's not into it like that. And I know that's the case because this video that I'm watching, the reaction to the Vlad TV video, this woman is clearly fucking bothered by the fact that the man didn't finish, to the point that it looks like it's a personal thing, bro. That's really fucking funny, bro. That's really fucking funny. I'm not gonna lie to you. This man is losing his marriage over some pussy that's not even that special, according to you who can't finish on camera, because that's really what it is, bro. If porn stars can't finish, it just means you're not good at fucking. I'm not gonna lie. Especially if he's a male one. From what I've seen, because I've seen this guy's interviews. I saw his interviews when he was making the first video. The nigga knows what he's doing, bro. If the girl knows how to fuck, he gonna finish. And if he can't finish because she can't fuck, or he's just not into it like that, the fact that there's another dude recording that shit and trying to make money off of it because he's super desperate, but is also extremely bothered by the fact that his wife is doing that, is super funny. Dr. Umar was not posing with a white woman, by the way. She's not white. She's clearly like light skin. And I think people should keep that in mind. Support my nigga Umar. I like snow bunnies, but I support my nigga Umar.